Hello students, let us learn today the connectivity between Java programming language and the backend database as Access, Microsoft Access. We know that the client is the machine which sends a request to the server, and in response to that request, server will send the required data to the client machine. In this application, we are going to connect Java with the backend database software, that is Microsoft Access. Now, for connecting this front end with the backend, in earlier stages, all the drivers were vendor specific. It means whenever we want to connect a particular front end with any particular backend, there were different types of steps that we need to follow for connecting front end with the backend. Later on, Microsoft system has developed one driver, ODBC, that is Open Database Connectivity Driver. Now after that, it became easy to remember a generalized stepwise procedure for connecting any front end with any back end. So this is the three-tier architecture where we are going to connect front end, that is our Java program, with back end, which will be our Microsoft Access database having table, and we are going to connect both these ends with the ODBC driver. JDBC is also a driver which is used for connecting only Java as a front end with any of the backend database software. There are 4 types of driver, but we are going to use JDBC ODBC bridge driver, that is type 1 driver. Let us see how we can connect this front end with the back end. The first step we need to follow is that we have to create a back end that we are going to create in Microsoft Access. So go to your machine and we have to create one database in Microsoft Access. So you can search a Microsoft Access software which you can create with the database. Click on create. Here it opens a database. As we know that database in the Microsoft Access is nothing but the collection of tables, and each table is a collection of record, wherein every record is a collection of columns, whereas every column may be consisting of any number of characters. So by default in table 1 there is one column with the name ID. This is identifier column which is used as a primary key in the table. Now you can right click on this new column and you can type over here the name of your column. Suppose I have written the column name as a roll number. Next column I want to create as a name. Third column, if you want to create percentage field, you can give name to it. Now always remember the structure of this access table. Okay, the first column is ID, which is of integer type. Its column number is 1. Your roll number column number is 2. Its data type will be integer. Name column is your third column. Its data type will be string, as you are going to store the name of students. Fourth column is your percentage. Okay, its data type will be either integer or float, whatever type of data you are going to store. Now suppose I am storing few records in this table, you can save it. Now I am inserting few record for storage purpose over here, and we can later on retrieve that data through Java as a front end. Okay, now suppose I have created database table with 4 columns. By default, first column is their ID and 3 columns roll number, name and percentage. Now you can save this. It will ask you the name for the table. Suppose I am giving the name for table as student. The name of your table is student. Click on OK. Now click on file menu and select option save database as. We have to save this database. Now you can save this database in any of the drive. Suppose I am storing database in D drive. Give the name to this database. Suppose I am giving name to this database as TYCO details. Okay, so now what we have done, in D drive you have TYCO details database. In that we have student table with 4 number of columns, wherein we have 3 number of records. Okay, now we have created this backend. Now you can either close it or you can minimize it. Now what we have to do, we have to connect our middle tier, that is ODBC driver, with our backend Microsoft Access driver. For that, go to control panel. Herein you can type for administrative tools. The options will appear here for the administrative tools. Okay. So in administrative tools option, you can see over here there is one option, data sources ODBC, that is open database connectivity driver. So click on it. You will get a list of data sources. Here we are going to use Microsoft Access database. Click on add button. It will ask you the database software that you are going to use as a backend. Here it provides you the list: DBase, Excel, Paradox, Visual Fox Pro, then SQL, Oracle, etc. But which database software we have used as a backend? We have used Microsoft Access driver. So there are two options for Microsoft Access driver: star MDB and star MDB comma star SCCDB. You can select this star MDB comma SCCDB because it will support all types of version. Click on finish. That means we have created the backend database in the Microsoft Access driver software. Click on finish. It will ask you where your database is saved. Click on select button. Click on the drive where your database is saved. Now you will see I have created TYCO details database in the Microsoft Access. Select name of your database which you have created and click on OK button. The path will be automatically taken for this database. It means whatever operations you are going to perform on this database, it will be performed under TYCO details database. For this connection which we have established between this TYCO details database, we have to give a shortcut name to this as a data source name. Suppose I am giving the data source name as role name. Okay, so data source name is role name, where R and N capital. You can give any name. Click on OK. The DSN data source name that you have created appears over here. Click on OK buttons. It means what we have done, we have connected our middle tier with the backend. So now what we have to do, we have to write the front end. Okay, So in first step we had created a database. In that we have created one table with some records. Second step we did that we have connected middle tier ODBC with the backend database software. Now third step what we have to do, we have to write a front end, that is our Java program. Okay, now in Java program we have to write a program in such a way that we have to perform some operation on that database. So we are writing one Java program for performing any operation on any type of database. There is one language we use, that is SQL, structured query language, which is comprising of many number of commands like select, insert, update, delete. So we have to fire these queries from front end. From your front end application you have to fire these queries so that that can be performed on the table which is under database. So whatever classes or method that we need for doing all these tasks is included under import java.sql.star. Okay, so SQL package is consisting of number of classes and methods for performing database connectivity. Start your program with class, give any name, class name dot java, give any name to your Java class. Suppose I have given db demo 2. Whatever program we write, we are writing application, so I am including program in public static void main. Okay, while performing database operation, we may come across the situations like database not found, connection not established, a wrong name of table does not exist. So this exception might occur. That's why we are writing code in try catch block for exception handling. Now first step, while writing your front end, first step we need to do is load the driver. We have to mention the name of driver that we are going to use in this program. So that is done by writing class dot for name. There is a method for name of class. In that we have to mention the name of driver, and that is mentioned by writing sun.jdbc.odbc.jdbc ODBC driver. It means we are mentioning that we are using type 1 bridge driver of JDBC. Second step we need to do is we have to establish the connection. We have to use the object of connection class. In first step what we did, we have given a connection between middle tier and backend, but every time in program if we want to refer कि I want to perform operation on that roll number table or student table which is available under TYCO details database, so I cannot write complete path every time. So in programming we are using connection class object for referring to that complete path. So how we can retrieve the object of connection class? By using driver manager dot get connection method. So there is a method get connection of driver manager which will give you the object of connection class. In bracket you have to mention JDBC colon ODBC colon and the name of DSN. If you can remember, data source name we had given is the role name. Whatever name you had entered in front of data source name while doing the connectivity, that name you have to write over here. Now next step we have to do is we have to create object of statement class. Now why this statement class object is needed? As I said, for performing operation on database, we have to build a SQL query and we have to fire that query. So for doing that thing, for doing for building SQL query and firing that query on backend database table, we need a particular method, and that particular method is available under statement class. So for calling that method we need object of statement class. So we will get the object of statement class by connection class method, and that method is create statement. So in connection class there is a method create statement which will return you the object of statement class. These three are the statement that you have to write for every database program in Java. Now once all this is done, we have to now build a query. You have to build a query and you have to run that query. Okay, now for it depends which query you want to fire: select, insert, update, delete. Now whenever we fire a select query, what output we get in as a output of the select query? Obviously select command is fired to get all the records in a table, and if you want to include a where clause you can include it, but in return it gives you the number of records, and which is also in tabular format. That table is known as a virtual table, and in programming that is known as a result set. So if I want to fire a select query which will return me the result set, so I have to receive that result set in one of the object. So how I will receive that? For that, first of all you have to execute query. For that purpose we have method execute query which is of statement class. For running select query, for example, if I want to display all the record from the table which I have created, so how I will write my query? Select star from, and what is our table name? Student was our table name, which was available under TYCO details database, and student is the name of table. We always fire the query on table, not on the database. So if I want to display all the record from student table, I have to write the select query in double quotes. Now for running this select query, we have to call execute query method, and this execute query method is of statement class. So I have called this execute query method by using object of statement class. Now this select query will return me all the records, all the number of rows from student table. So for receiving that virtual table, I have to use object of result set. So what is the return type of execute query? It is result set. What is the output of select query? It is the result set, which is virtual table, a temporary table. Now I have to show on the screen what I have received in this RS. Okay, so now how this virtual table will look like? It will return you all the records. So suppose in backend I had 3 rows. Okay, in backend I have created a database table with 3 rows in it. Now whatever output we get of the select query, that will be your virtual table, which will be consisting of all the records in a actual table which is in database, and that we have received in the result set, and I have given the name as a RS. So in program what I have to do, I have to print all the records which I have received in this RS table, you can say. So by default there is one pointer which is above the first row in result set. So I have to move this pointer from this position to the next position so that I can print the record. So there is a method of this result set, that is next method, which will point the pointer to the next record if next record is available. Again, if we write next method, it will check whether next record is available. It will return true and it will point the virtual pointer to the next row in the table. And this process we have to do until there are new records in the result set. This process will be repeated. Once the result set records are over, we will exit from that loop. So this is the logic. So how we can write this? So we have to print the output or record which are available under the result set. Okay, so I have to write a query. So I have to write a condition while rs dot next. It means what? Whatever table we have received in the rs, which is a collection of records, till the time I get next record in this rs, I have to read data from this result set and I have to print it. So in this result set, we know that first column is our ID, second column is our roll number, third column is name, and fourth column is percentage. So I have to read data from this result set RS and we have to print that onto the screen. So I have to read data from this result set. So I am writing here system.out.println. It means it will print the message on the screen. So it will print message on screen. What I want to print? I want to print from result set. Name of result set is RS. But there are 4 columns. So I just want to print roll number and name. So I am writing here get XXX method of result set rs.get, and XXX is replaced by data type. What is the data type of roll number column? Integer. So you can write here int rs.get int. It means you have to retrieve the integer type of data from rs result set. Okay, but from which column? So you have to mention the number of columns. So I want to retrieve integer type of data from second column of RS table, and that will be printed on screen. Now suppose I want to give space. So plus in double quotes mention /t plus. Again I want to print name from the result set. So how I will write? rs.get string type of data from which number of column? Column number 3. So this will be repeated till there are next record available in RS result set. Once this task is done, close the connection by writing con.close. Complete the bracket of try. Write the catch block for exception handling. If you want to write it by empty body. Complete the main function, complete the class. Now we have to save this file with the name of class. The name of class is dbdemo2. Now save this file under Java JDK bin with the name of class dbdemo2.java. Now the file is saved. Go to command prompt. Let's see. how to run this. So we have to go to the path where our program is saved. Program files, Java, JDK, bin, Java C, DB demo, dbdemo2.java, and compile it. If there are error, it will show the error. If there are no error, the prompt will be shown. Now execute this program by interpreting the program Java dbdemo2. So when I run, if you can see, I got over the roll number and name from the backend table student, which was available under TYCO details database. So what we have done through our Java program, which is our front end. This is your front end. Actual, you have not opened access table over here while running the program. You have fired select query from your front end and you have received the data from back end. So this is how you can connect front end with the back end. Here we have used Java program as a front end, and in backend we have used Microsoft Access. So this way you can fire a select query through Java application program on Microsoft Access database table. Same way you can perform rest of the queries of SQL on database tables. Thank you.